All right, everybody, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are taking a deep dive into, get this, your finances.
Ooh, exciting.
It is. We're going to be looking at your bank statement today, a recent bank statement. So before you go like, oh my God, numbers, boring, I promise it's way more interesting than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Numbers tell a story, right?
They totally do.
And this is your story,
Yeah.
and we're going to learn how to decode it.
Yeah, so this is like, think of it as like your financial fingerprint.
Your financial fingerprint, exactly.
Right. It's totally unique to you. And it's a way to really understand your habits, your spending habits, where's your money coming from, like just all of these things, right?
Yeah, your income, your spending habits. And I think it's even more interesting because it gives us a glimpse into what's happening in the greater financial landscape
Ooh, like that.
of a specific country, right?
Right.
This one is, I believe, from Pakistan, correct?
Yes, it is.
So we can kind of extrapolate maybe some trends that are happening just by looking at this one person's bank statement.
Okay. So speaking of this one person's bank statement, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
This is a 30-day bank statement from Habib Bank Limited. So HBL.
HBL. Okay.
One of the biggest banks, I think, in Pakistan.
This big. Okay.
So we see here that this person starts out this 30-day period with over 3,000 PKR,
Okay.
right? And then they end it with 361.31 PKR.
Ooh,
That's
big difference.
a sharp drop.
It is a sharp drop.
Yes.
So we need to figure out what is going on here.
Absolutely. And again, without knowing the full financial picture, it's very difficult for us to make any judgments.
Of course.
But what we can do is we can look at these line items, these transactions, and sort of extrapolate what this person's month was like.
Totally. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Right off the bat, we've got a big debit.
What?
Nesco for 20,733 PKR.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a big chunk. So for our listeners who are not as familiar, can you tell us a little bit more about Nesco? What is that? Yeah, so that is the National Electric Power Regulatory Authority. Basically, It's their electric company, right?
It's the electric company. Okay, got it.
It's their electric bill.
So this person, a good chunk of their money went to paying their electricity bill.
Right.
Now, is this typical 20,000 PKR? Is that a normal electricity bill in Pakistan? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, it can vary so much. It depends on where you live, what time of year it is.
Sure.
You know, if you're running the AC a lot.
How big is your place? All that kind of stuff.
All that kind of stuff. Exactly.
Right.
But it is definitely, I would say, on the higher end.
On the higher end. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe they had their AC blasting that month? Or potentially it's possible, right, that they had an outstanding balance and this was the month they had to pay it?
Oh, yeah. Could be.
We don't know. We're just speculating, but
We are. That's our job here.
that's our job. All right. What else? What other clues do we have?
Okay, next up, a transfer for 19,000 PKR, and the label is Funds Transfer A7129 Day 39 A69F SDOAI Ebon, I guess, X 0X00027 through RAST APEPACCHE 111234 111506117.
Oh my gosh.
What's a mouthful?
I know. I was going to say, break that down for me.
Okay.
That's a lot of numbers and letters.
So this is a bank statement. These things happen.
Okay.
So funds transfer, pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
This next little bit here, SME 7129939T69F. That's probably just like a reference code for the transaction.
Like a tracking number on that.
Exactly. Yeah, like a tracking number.
Yep.
FRSDOR alley,
So that's who they're sending the money to.
potentially, or who it's from.
Okay. Got it.
Then we have IBAN, which, you know, again, bank statement. We've got numbers, we've got an IBAN.
Sure.
And then we have through RAST. This is interesting. RAST.
What is RAST? I've never heard of RAST.
Yeah, so RAST is Pakistan's instant payment system.
Oh, okay.
So like a Venmo.
Like a Venmo, so like a digital.
Like a digital Zelle, yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Interesting. Okay. So this person is using digital banking.
Yeah, and I think this is really interesting. We talked about this a little at the top, but this is kind of indicative of like a greater trend that's happening in Pakistan,
Absolutely.
which is this move towards like a more digital financial system.
Yeah, and you see this in other developing economies as well. A lot of people are, skipping over that sort of like traditional banking system, and they're going straight to using their phones, their smartphones for banking, which is a really interesting trend.
Very interesting.
Okay, cool.
And we also see that in a few other transactions, right?
Yeah.
We see a couple for digital banking TMFB.
Okay, so TMFB, I wonder if that's a specific bank
Right.
or if that's a type.
Or if it's like a service.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's kind of hard to say.
Right.
without more information.
Right, without more information. But we can
assume.
safely that this person is somewhat tech savvy.
Yeah, they're probably banking on their phone.
They're banking on their phone.
And that they're sending money to Asghar Ali.
Asghar Ali, yes, that's right.
So we love Asghar Ali. Hope they're doing well.
We love you, Asghar.
All right, moving on. We also have a credit here from Military Benevolent 004279918400203 for 2,700 PKR.
Military Benevolent.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So what do you think this means?
Well, just taking a guess, this could be some sort of like military organization, some sort of fund.
Right.
Perhaps this person is receiving a pension.
Yeah.
Or some sort of benefit.
Right, benefit, yeah.
From this organization.
So maybe they were in the military or they had a family member in the military, something like that.
Exactly. And that's another interesting thing that we can see just from someone's bank statement.
So fascinating.
Like you can start to extrapolate what their life might be like.
Right. Are they a veteran? Did
Yeah.
they have a family member who's a veteran?
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 And I just think it's so fascinating. You know, it's like you would never think that you could get so much information from a bank statement.
From a bank statement.
And here we are.
And yet here we are, like, armchair detectives just going through. All right. What else can we find out about this person?
So I think that's kind of the big stuff
Mhm.
that we wanted to cover. Obviously, there are a lot more transactions. We don't need to go through every single one.
Right, right. We don't have to bore our listeners with every single detail.
But yeah, I mean, just from these few transactions, we can already start to piece together some information about this person.
Absolutely. We've got we have an idea of their monthly expenses, right? We
Oh.
know that their electricity bill is a big chunk of that.
Right.
Potentially, they have some sort of connection to the military.
Right.
And they're tech savvy. They're using their phones to bank.
Yeah.
And send money. So
It's fascinating.
it's pretty amazing.
So the takeaway here is really, to kind of pay attention to what your bank statements are saying.
Yeah.
Like, I think, in our modern world, it's so easy to just like swipe your card and not really think about it.
Just not pay attention. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's so important to know where your money's going, where it's coming from, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. And I think what we've done today is kind of empowering in a way because it shows you can take these numbers, which seem very intimidating, and you can break them down
Right.
into a story. And then once you understand the story, then you can start to make more informed decisions.
Totally. So to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
check your bank statements. What story is your bank statement telling?
What story are your numbers telling yet?
We want to know. Let us know.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.